136. Movies are back, folks. Actual good movies in January
back.
and February, which is
Crazy.
Unheard of.
kind of a paradigm shift that I think we've experienced within the last couple of years, at least in my personal viewing taste, I think. Because, Dex, you get to more movies than all of us, but for me, I would equate myself to an above average moviegoer. I'm seeing two good movies every January and February now over the last couple of years. That used to not be the case at all.
Yeah, January and February used to be the months that I took off from the movies. And then I would hit it back hard starting in April. But
yeah,
this year we've gotten some bangers already.
So we're obviously talking about Knock at the Cabin, a new film from M. Night Shyamalan, an actually good movie, haters. Tej.
I am the hater, so I mean I will agree. This was a surprisingly good film. I had a good time.
I was stunned by how much I like this movie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I expected to hate it.
Has one hater. Tej is him. Knock at the Cabin, rated R, a shocking rated R actually to me, and we can discuss that. 2 hour or 2023 movie, hour and 40 minutes long, man. Fucking chef's kiss. 6.4 on IMDb, which is surprising. Only the 9 ranked trending popularity movie right now. While vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand the family make a choice to avert the apocalypse. If you saw any trailer, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I have a question real quick. What is the IMDb popularity rankings based on? What does that mean?
I think just people clicking on the site.
on the website. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's number 1 at the box office. Finally, Avatar 2 is dead.
Avatar is dead.
all God's people said amen.
I didn't know that M. Night Shyamalan was the hero I needed to defeat Avatar, but sometimes your
enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, exactly. So M. Night Shyamalan did me a great service, and I appreciate him for that.
Written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, based on a previously produced screenplay by Steve Desmond and Michael Sherman. It is based on a novel of the same name by Paul Tremblay, a book that came out 2 years ago.
I want to say it was 2016 or something.
Was it? Oh, okay. 2018 may have been more accurate. But it
time doesn't matter anymore.
Well, no, it doesn't. It came after the Trump presidency, and you'll be able to tell why.
It was a result of the Trump presidency, and he said so.
Yeah. So 63 Metascore actually stars none other than Drax himself, Dave Bautista, in a potentially career-defining role. This man went from giving people the business in the WWE and in real life, actually,
the
if you go read his
bomb.
his Wikipedia page, to being the most kind-hearted screen present, gentle giant screen presence that we have today. It's insane, and he's really, really good. Also stars names that you'll know, like Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge as the couple in the story. Rupert Grint makes an appearance, as he's known to do in Shyamalan projects now.
Still in these streets.
Justice for Mindhunter, by the way. Every time you talk about Jonathan Groff, you have to say justice for Mindhunter. Justice for that.
Netflix, you know what you did. He was a star of Mindhunter,
You know what you fucking did, Netflix. You know what you did. And we'll never forget it.
I mean, he's still probably getting Hamilton money, so he's all right.
Every time somebody re-clicks play on that for the 15th billion time on Disney Plus. Nikki Amuka Bird and Abby Quinn make up the rest of that cast, and then Kristen, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna mispronounce her last name, Key, as the daughter Win, and she's awesome,
great.
Awesome child actress,
so good.
And then a host of other people as news anchors and such. But you're right, Dex. This did dethrone many people's Lord and Savior James Cameron, the Avatar. $20 million budget. One weekend, $21 million return, which is about as good as you can hope for a rated R February movie. And it's probably going to keep going too, which has since been the case with Shyamalan. He's kind of self-funded a lot of these projects that he's been doing and making big returns on them. because, as we have known throughout his career, do not give this man any sort of money because it will tank. It will tank your studio.
Your studio will fall into the ocean.
Yeah.
You give Shyamalan some money, but good for him, man.
Lower critic scores and audience scores than I think I was anticipating going into this. 68% critic score, 64% audience score. Although it is often less scary and parts of the story don't bear scrutiny, Knock at the Cabin is a thought-provoking chiller and upper tier Shyamalan. I would argue it is anywhere from his second to third best movie that he's put out. Definitely the best in the last 6 years. So that's saying something. TJ, I want to start with you because you are like, you haven't liked Shyamalan since The Village. So,
oh God.
So I really want to start with what your thoughts are first on Shyamalan and where this movie comes in, and give it your review.
Obviously, I'm not a big Shyamalan fan, although he does have movies I like. I like Unbreakable. I like Signs. I liked The Sixth Sense the first time I saw it. I don't think it really holds the same kind of weight with me on reviewing, but you know, I wasn't always a Shyamalan hater. And then The Village happened, and then he kept stabbing me in the heart, and I was like, you know what? I'm out on this. I watched like maybe 25 minutes of Old, which was the first movie I had seen of his in like probably a decade, and I watched about 25 minutes, and there was a character called Mid-Size Sedan or some shit like that, and I turned the movie off immediately. I'm good on this. So my expectations weren't high. I will say that when I first saw the trailer, I was like, that trailer fucking bangs, but he's fooled me with trailers before. But I also love Batista. Like, to be that big of a presence on screen, and he can really get vulnerable. Like, he can really get vulnerable. And it just seemed like, even from the trailer, that his relationship with the kid was going to be something very vulnerable. And so I was interested, even though I knew it was M. Night Shyamalan. And Lord bless whoever told M. Night Shyamalan, hey, you know, the movie doesn't have to have a twist in it. You could make a movie where everybody knows the ending and people can still have a great time at the movie theater. That's what this movie is. No spoilers yet, but like this, we can't really spoil this movie for you. If you told me what you think the plot might be of this film, 90% chance you probably get it right.
Yeah. It's it. Yeah.
Like it's a very straightforward story. Now, there's a lot of elements of the story where you're trying to figure out what's real and what's not. But I mean, by the time the story is over, you're like, oh shit, he didn't even try to give us a twist there, which I loved. And I just thought he made some choices that were really intentional and really smart. Shooting everything kind of close up, I thought just really worked, especially that first scene where you see Batista interact with our young actress. I just like that just works so well, and you do that before we even meet the parents. Like that just worked so well for me. It immediately brought me into the movie. It immediately made me think, oh shit, Batista is great. He's being set up in a position to where he's going to have a big role in this movie. He's going to be the center of this film, and he's really going to take the film to new heights. The only thing that I really didn't like is that there's like this ratio / like focus adjustment thing that's always happening in the movie in terms of the camera work, and it happens probably 200 times. Like the movie, like somebody goes out of focus and they come back into focus, so it's obviously a very intentional choice. I thought he like overdid it. He was spamming that particular feature, but other than that, I had a pretty good time. Anytime you tell me that we're going to see parts of the apocalypse in a movie, I'm probably in. I'm probably going to be down. The story is grounded enough. The humans in the story really make it great. I really love the Jonathan Groff performance, Justice for Mindhunter. I really like the performance of the young actress. I thought she was phenomenal, and I really had a good time. I wasn't bored. It's a very short movie, and even into the last like literal seconds of the movie, when you already know how it's ending because the movie has basically already ended, I was still like, I don't trust him. I don't trust it. He's not going to try to throw a twist in here. I don't trust it. But when the credits hit, I was like, "Oh my god!"
He didn't post-credit scene.
Literally on Google, like at the movie theater, is there Knock at the Cabin post-credit scene?
This is going to be an insular joke that maybe, but we are on the greatest podcast network of all time, so Apollo fans will understand this. Maybe you ever remember when Daniel House played for the Rockets, and he would always and once a game try a highlight dunk and always miss it. Like it would happen like once a game,
bang off the back of the rim and go to half court.
That is my view of M. Night Shyamalan. He could have a layup, but instead he's going to try to 360 it, and it's going to be a clank. And that's what I was scared of the whole time I was watching this movie. I was like, he's going to go full Daniel House, but he didn't. He laid the ball up. He gave us a solid movie, and I had a good time with it. I gave it a B+. I really enjoyed it. I can't believe I'm saying that. And I'll have to apologize to someone later on the podcast, but I'll save that.
We'll have to discuss the ending. I think that's the biggest thing with Shyamalan films. Obviously, everybody since The Sixth Sense went into them. Well, what's the twist in this one going to be? And I think not that he was like smelling his own farts or something like that, but I think he was probably like caught up in that as like filmmakers can do. What's the big thing Nolan's going to do? Is he going to actually blow up the planet? You know what I mean? So
he blew up several islands for Oppenheimer.
Like, exactly. Literally. So I think like
not literally.
We are so blessed. Real cinema is here, brothers. Oppenheimer is coming. I can't wait.
I'm still trying to figure out how he replicated a nuclear bomb, but that we'll see in May.
With a nuclear bomb, that's how.
He said, "Y'all got I know y'all got some of these sitting over in Kansas that y'all aren't using. Let me have one."
Y'all think Tom Cruise is a badass for jumping out of helicopters? I literally detonated a nuclear bomb for my nuclear bomb movie.
No, I think that Shyamalan may have, as a younger filmmaker, gotten caught up into like, what is the new thing that I'm going to do here?
How am I going to blow everyone's minds?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, I mean, it's a pitfall of what we expect from people. But yeah, I think, and I'll discuss what I think about who Shyamalan is now versus what the populace thinks I think of him. But anyway, Dex, you were the first one to see this movie. You probably saw it with a fuller theater than the rest of us too. Like, what was sort of the reaction?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, you didn't?
Was like 8 people in my movie.
Oh, okay.
Mine was about halfway full. About halfway.
Okay. Yeah, I saw this on like the Thursday it came out at like 5 p.m. Like, so the 7:30 showing after mine was like more full, but mine had like 8 people in it because it was 5 o'clock on a Thursday. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was dope. I wasn't expecting to like it. I thought, like everybody else, I thought he was going to do some dumb shit to ruin this like really good premise and throw it all away with some twist where it's like, oh, Dave Bautista was like from space the whole time or something. Like,
he was an angel.
Yeah, he's an angel. It's an allegory for creation or like some dumb shit. Like he's Jesus or something. I didn't know what he was going to do, but I was certain that he was going to do something to let me down, and he didn't. Like, it's just a very good, tense, thought-provoking movie. Like the Rotten Tomatoes review consensus thing that you read, I'm like, I agree with that exactly, except I liked it more than they did. Like, it's thought-provoking. It's not very scary, but it's kind of tense. And there's a couple of plot points where you just kind of have to ignore it and not really think about it too hard. But I'm good with all that because I was extremely uncomfortable throughout parts of it, like in a good way. I was super tense, like trying to like straighten myself in my chair, like to relieve some of the tension and shit like that. Never really quite knew exactly what was about to happen next, partially because it's M. Night Shyamalan. I just watched this movie straight up without knowing who the director was, I would have been like, oh, this is very predictable. But since it's Shyamalan, I was like, oh, he's going to do something fucking crazy. Yeah. Like, what's it going to be? Like, what's it going to be?
What if that was the twist the entire time? He was like, you idiots thought.
You fucking thought.
Y'all thought. That was his twist.
Another thing I like about this movie is that, like, it's based on a book, but you can't really tell that unless someone, like, tells you, you know? Like, it doesn't
think it was based on a play.
Yeah, it's not like there's usually like some seams when it comes to adapting a book because people are like trying to get the inner monologue across on screen as narration, and it's like really bad and it sucks. But they didn't do that. They didn't bother with that. I've looked up like I haven't read the book, but I've looked up like what happens in it and what's different about it. And I like what Shyamalan did more. The ending is a little bit different, and we can discuss that once we get into spoilers. But I like Shyamalan's version better than the book version. So I thought this was good. Bautista is him. Give him more roles. I'm excited to see whatever he does next. I'm gonna give it a B.
I'm right there with you. I'm gonna give it a B as well too. to that end, it's weird being the guy that complains about the twist and then like expecting something, getting upset when something more doesn't happen at the end. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's like a medium where it doesn't have to be the biggest twist ending of all time. Oh, the village is like a secret base where like we're in modern times the entire time. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like that. But sorry to spoil the village of 2033.
He saved you 2 hours.
Film The Village. But I was kind of left expecting a little bit more, maybe in the way of even resolution, but it was pretty final. I'll say that. I don't know. So I was expecting a little bit more, I don't know, clarity, I guess, at the very end. And he didn't give it to you, and that's his choice, and it worked fine. Like, I'm not saying it's the worst thing that I've ever seen. Like, obviously, we liked it more than if he would have been like, yeah, if Batista was the actual horseman of the apocalypse. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think that it worked as well as it needed to got the story across.
Yeah, Batista like rides off on a horse at the end of the movie.
Right. Like on Pegasus.
I would have thrown something at the movie screen if he hopped on a horse. I would have literally thrown something at the movie screen.
I just think that Shyamalan, at this point, I think we all need to accept that Shyamalan, while he is a good filmmaker, the story was always the thing that kind of got away from him as a filmmaker. Like, technically, he's like a really polished auteur when it comes to moving the camera and doing like all of this is based in like a 300 square foot cabin, basically.
Yeah.
And the way that they block it and move the camera, it's all brilliant filmmaking. Where he would get lost in the sauce was he would write his own scripts, and it's his storytelling mechanics of that. He would get lost in it. And I think that we need to kind of look at him more as like this uber genre filmmaker instead of maybe this grand auteur that he was said to be when he was like 26 and made The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, he's not a screenplay genius. We gotta let that go.
Yeah, and so he was nominated for Oscars. He was a wonderkin and all this stuff. It was like his second ever film. And then he comes out with Unbreakable, which is, a lesser film, but still a really, really good follow-up and character study. And then it just kind of like really, I mean, Signs has its moments, but it really kind of plateaus, and he gets these huge contracts from these studios to do these multi-million-dollar projects. He's pairing with Will Smith and he's
doing
giving his
Airbender.
yeah, and giving his kid money to do whatever it is that they were doing in After Earth, and it just didn't work. And I think he kind of reverted back and is doing what he was meant to do, which was just genre thriller filmmaking, and it's mostly worked out since that pivot. I mean, TG said you didn't like Old. A lot of people liked it.
It did well. Yeah, people liked it. People swore by it.
And I mean, I don't think Glass necessarily worked, but the Split is the one that people go back to. I mean, that was back in 2016, but like
Split's not bad.
James McAvoy was in his bag.
Yeah, I'm rambling, but I think we need to like think of him in a different light going forward with his career as he moves into his 50s and 60s.
He needs to keep having source material to go back to. We love that.
That's another thing.
We love a man with source material that doesn't get caught up in his own shortcomings. We love that.
Yeah, and I gave my boy Robert Eggers some source material, and he crushed it. Y'all saw it.
Fact, y'all saw it. It happened. We were there.
And obviously, he changed a lot. Not a lot, but like enough to where it made sense for him to want to do it. Obviously the script had been around for a long time, and he just took their script and was like, no, I'm changing some stuff, but which is like, okay, that could have worked or it couldn't have. It kind of worked here. And I just think it was a solid performance from the entire cast. Like Rupert Grint turning into like character actor guy is like an awesome career change. I love that. Instead of trying,
Ron Weasley was such a bigot. I had no idea. I didn't know Ron Weasley at Hogwarts was learning and going to some of the websites that he was obviously going to.
You saw how he grew up.
Hey, bro, a J.K. Rowling written character. We can't doubt it.
It only makes sense.
It's in all of them.
Impoverished white looked down upon by the other elites at Hogwarts. Who would have thought? No, but I think that the the story gets there. I think it's really, really carried uh by the couple and Batista. And I think Batista really does, obviously, I think his best work as an actor. And it was really cool of them to identify him as that presence.
Yeah.
In being sort of that just gentle giant figure. And I think he's made really interesting career choices since, getting big with Marvel. And I think it's really served him well. And he's wanted to really try to be an actor, which is like, I just kept imagining The Rock as this character and it sucked. I just kept imagining it. Could you imagine?
Dwayne could literally never. He could literally never.
Nah, he could
Ever.
not. I
Like,
love,
there's
I
the
love The
Tooth
Rock.
Fairy.
The Rock,
he can't work
greatest
with
wrestler
kids.
of all time, but he ain't got it like that.
Get him out of here.
That's the thing. When there's a purpose for The Rock in his films. But I'm just saying, like, just imagining that is like Batista has a stranglehold on probably the best wrestler turned actor at this point after this
Agreed.
performance. And
Or at least he has the most range because Cena is pretty good, but Cena has
it's all
we
comedy.
haven't seen Cena. Yeah, we haven't seen Cena. I mean, we have seen straight laced Cena. It was in a Fast and Furious movie, and it was boring because he didn't make any jokes. We wanted he should have been making some jokes.
The Marine back in 2006, those straight to FX movies. Yeah. Anyway, I just think he didn't get lost in the sauce. It was a really quick, enjoyable movie for February. And that's all we kind of ask for at this point until Oscar season ramps back up again. But
Facts.
I just think it was really worth going to. It almost could have been rated PG-13, and it felt like they were kind of going for it.
Yeah,
it felt like they tried. It felt like they literally tried to get PG-13 because they were cutting away from, like, this is a very violent movie, but they were cutting away from a lot of the violent scenes. They were just cutting away from them.
There's a lot of blood.
I'm a person who's like, I don't need a super duper gory movie to have a good time. Like, so I was cool with it, but yeah, it did feel like they were pulling punches a little bit.
There's a lot of blood and stuff, so I kind of understand and like add into that the frightening images. Like I imagine, that's probably why it did it, but it didn't seem like a rated R. Like I've seen PG-13 movies that go about this far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, as far as what the movie's about, it is an obvious allegory to what do we believe on the internet. I'm not quite sure how interested Shyamalan was in that part of it. I think he was probably more interested in like the man versus spiritual aspects of it, as he kind of is in most of his films. But I do think that it is a pretty poignant tale of where we are with the discourse now and what we believe and what you can believe and is seeing, believing, and where we are with that. It probably works out better in the book than it does in this film. But then again, Shyamalan changed a few things. So I give it a B. Very, very solid film. Go see it in the theater. It's worth your time.
Yeah, some interesting questions in there about humanity and whether or not it's worth saving. I enjoyed that.
I thought that so we should say that the two parents in this film are a same-sex couple, and they kind of weave their experiences with kind of like bigotry into the story in a very unique way, and it kind of like Dex is saying, it kind of serves as the backbone of one of the characters' decision to not make the sacrifice. Obviously, from the trailer, you can know like the sacrifices they need to choose as a family to kill a member of their family, and the people who've intruded onto the cabin can't do it for them. They can't decide for them. They can't harm them physically. All they have to do is present the option to them, and then every time they say no, every time they get a no, then they were going to start another level of the apocalypse, basically. And so because of the way that they're doing the story, this all happens in this insular cabin. They put up these news stories to prove to the people that live in the cabin that these things are actually happening. These things that we've told you are going to happen are really happening. But because of what Royden was saying before of like, what do we really believe? What's going on the internet? Do we believe even the news? What is truth? What is not? You still leave room for the characters to have doubt as to what is actually happening, which is a brilliant way to do the movie. Like that's just like a very effective way to keep the movie going. It's already a short movie, but you can't have them know the full weight of their decisions from the beginning, even though they're told the full weight of their decisions from the beginning. Any of us would think that these people were religious kooks, and they say that in the movie. Like, the black woman's like, I'm not religious at all, actually. Like, I know that you probably think I'm a religious kook because of what I'm saying to you, but I'm not religious at all. And I thought the way they played with that was a very smart way to write a movie.
No, and I just think that, again, all the casting and all the performances were really pitch perfect too, especially for the 4 people in those positions. And I heard this on another podcast, and it makes sense. It's really good acting by I keep forgetting his name, but he's actually having a really good year. Ben Aldridge. He was in that rom-com, or what amounted to basically like a Hallmark movie. Spoiler alert.
Oh
this past year.
I didn't see it, but yeah, good for him.
It got really good reviews, but he's in that. But basically, it's really good acting by them because they have to be playing frightened and distressed the entire movie.
And angry.
Yeah, they have to like keep that the entire time. And again, I can't say enough about the child performance. Like, we, as somebody who like harped on how bad a child performance was in a past movie that we watched.
Several past movies.
Multiple past movies.
Multiple past movies. I just think that like when you see like a really good one, it's worth pointing out, and she was fantastic. But no, let's talk about what they changed. And heavy spoiler alert from here on out. About 26 minutes. Heavy spoiler alert. If you don't want it spoiled, go see Knock at the Cabin and Scene. Okay, so in the book, what happens is the child, Wynn, is that her name? Wynn is killed accidentally in a skirmish between, I believe, Batista's character and one of the dads.
That doesn't count.
No, so it doesn't count. So they weren't volunteered. So they have to live with that. And then basically what amounts to happening is that all of the people sacrifice themselves. The apocalypse begins to happen, and they don't make a decision. They just wander off into whatever may come. And
I think Sabrina is her name, the black woman.
Oh, she runs away. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, she runs away. I think she helps them kill Leonard at one point. And it's kind of more up in the air whether or not the apocalypse stuff was real or if it was fake.
Interesting.
Yeah. In the movie, it's pretty clear cut that it was real. But in the book, they kind of leave it ambiguous, I guess, as to whether or not all that shit was real, because she starts having doubts about it. She's talking to the dads about it, and they're having their doubts still. So nobody really knows whether or not the apocalypse was actually going to happen in the book.
There's no way that M. Night Shyamalan was going to get a movie that deals with the apocalypse and not be able to show you the spectacle of the apocalypse. Like, there's no way that he was going to do that, because that's probably the stuff that really gets him going. Like, when those planes were falling out of the sky, my heart was beating so fast. And it's such a jarring thing to watch.
Nuts.
Bro.
Could you
imagine?
That
would be the scariest thing ever, bro.
Planes are out. All the planes are dying.
That was so scary, man.
Planes? Nobody realizes how many planes are in the air all the time.
All the time, constantly.
That was
dude. Tsunamis look so fucking terrifying.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That looked bad. That was bad CGI.
It looked like bad CGI, but like just the idea.
Don't be bad CGI guy. I was scared to death when I saw that.
It was bad. It wasn't that great, but the plane stuff is it was good.
The planes were better CGI.
Well, I mean, just in general, because they were far off, you could just kind of see the planes falling out of the air. But I'm just saying, like this fake wave look coming on that they captured on Facebook Live. You're kind of like, all right.
I have a little behind the scenes knowledge. There's a kiss in this film because the two characters are obviously like a married couple, and they actually kiss. And some people out here are doing CGI kisses, so we gotta be careful with this CGI thing that we're doing, guys. I realize that there's a new wave. It can go. This CGI thing can go very far, bros. It could be much worse than it is now.
We'll talk about that later because there was some movie stuff that came out this week that I want to talk about. But like, anyway,
They're actually clean shaven in this movie. You know, some people are fake clean shaven with CGI in their
mustache. Oh man, no. So, what do we think about the changes to that and like making it more purposeful than what they did in the book? I mean, obviously, I think TG enjoyed it, but
He
do
made
you
it
think
more
leaving it
accessible.
more ambiguous makes sense? Obviously, I don't think he wanted to kill a kid. I think that's kind of like a
That's
non-starter.
fair. I think so. This becomes a very interesting play of like what he does, and at his best is he makes small movies that could generate large dollars back, large audiences. Right? Old is a movie that he spent $19 on and made a lot of money on it because people went to go see it in the movie theater. Right? So if you make it a real thing, the thing that we're talking about actually exists. It makes it that much more accessible to the average American. For one. For two, like I said, he gets to do the actual spectacle, although he could have still done that and just shown us the visions, but it could not have been real. But I think it's easier to access if it's actually real. And I think the dynamics between the humans of the story, and it's very clear that he wanted to see that this is not a story about the apocalypse or about the people that are dying in the apocalypse. This is a story about this family. Like this is a family drama. And so in order to achieve that, I think it makes more sense to make it realistic and to actually see that the prophecy is being fulfilled. I think that makes it a more accessible movie, whereas it might work better thinking about these more physiological things or these more spiritual things in a book. It might work better in a book that way, but on a movie screen, I think it works much better this way.
Yeah, I agree. I think answering the question of the apocalypse definitively is much better than leaving that ambiguous. I like the choice that he makes, right, is to kind of make the character. I don't remember which of the dads is the one that survives. It's Eric or Andre or whatever. Andrew. What's her name?
Andrew survives.
Andrew survives.
Andrew survives.
Eric is
Eric,
the one who
Jonathan Groff's character sacrifices himself because he believes that he has seen the light, literally.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, he was right, which is good. But
so there is an afterlife, according to this movie, by the way.
But it's like I appreciate that they made the ambiguity is whether or not the surviving dad thinks that was a good choice. Like, you know, because you can see him at the diner and he's like, you know, all these good things are happening to these other people. That's cool, but also
but I'm
fuck
stuck
you guys.
without my partner. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, fuck y'all. The world still hates me because I'm gay. And now I'm here without my partner. And, you know, he goes back in the car with Wind and he like the music comes on. He turns it off. She turns it back on. So it's supposed to be like a life goes on kind of thing. But it's ambiguous whether or not life really goes on for him. Like, you know, you can't really tell if he feels like he made the right decision or like the right thing happened, like if humanity deserves to live. And I think that's a better way to do a movie than making us question whether or not we wasted an hour and 40 minutes on if the apocalypse was real or not, you know?
Well, and it becomes more of a character study, which I think he's probably more interested to do. Instead of is the apocalypse, because I do kind of get mad at stuff like that sometimes where I'm like, tell me the answer. Like, I know we're not supposed to be spoon fed stuff as an audience, but I'm big dumb movie boy. So I'm like, can I know, please? Can I know? And that's probably why it makes it a good film. But I'm also like, I want to know.
It's the whole thing about being ambiguous versus being vague or whatever the line is.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate that they were like, nope, not vague at all. It's the apocalypse was about to happen. You just watched these 4 people sacrifice themselves, and they were doing the right thing. And we have to figure out, is humanity actually worth saving? You have to make that choice for yourself. Because like it's not like he hits you over the head with like, oh, look at the beautiful puppies and the great things about Earth and rainbows and sparkles. It's like,
they walk out of there and they're like in Kansas. So it's just kind of like,
and it's like, you know, was it good? Should these people all be dead? Fuck them. Like, we don't know.
I really like. I couldn't get enough of how they chose to film the movie. Like I will give him a lot of credit. I think the work with the camera is just phenomenal. He said he used 2 different DPs on the project because of scheduling. So one person basically did all the stuff inside the cabin, and somebody did all the stuff outside the cabin. And when you're shooting in one location, like you really have to make use of all that space. Like, and they do so much. They do enough of the stuff outside. Like, there's enough of the movie that happens outside the house, and enough of the shooting that happens outside the house. Sometimes they will cut away from the violence going on inside the cabin by showing you the outside of the cabin. And I just thought that it was a very smart use of the camera in such a confined space. I thought it was phenomenal in that regard.
Yeah, we should note it was shot by Jaron Blatchke and Lowell A. Meyer. Blatchke, who is the cinematographer for Robert Eggers. So he shot The Lighthouse, The Northman, The Witch, things of that sort.
Perfect to get anybody who's worked with Eggers, and anybody who was shooting that extreme violence on The Northman knows how to shoot some violence. Because, oh my God, The Northman is the most violent movie I've ever seen. Yeah. They didn't cut away from shit in The Northman.
Brother.
They zoomed in on that shit.
That one was a hard R. Let me show you.
That shit.
God, when he when they're fighting in the volcano naked and he chops off his arm, I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, that fucking volcano fight scene. I need people to fucking understand how sick that shit is. That shit was so dope. Not enough people have seen The Northman. Go watch it. It's on Prime Video.
It's on Prime. Robert Eggers is really him. Give him another big budget, please. Or don't. It doesn't matter. His movies are going to slap no matter what happens.
Just studio interfere, please.
Again, yeah, just continue to interfere.
But please interfere just a little bit, please.
Just a little bit. No, I think when it comes to Shyamalan, I think this is just his lane, man. I think he just makes these movies that are going to continue to make this is going to make $75 million or whatever it is. If made it for $20 million, then he'll get to self-fund his next project and people will go see it. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't be, but I'm glad that in a time where people don't get to take that many chances, there's still this guy that is just trying to throw 120 miles an hour.
Yeah, just fuck it. Let's go do
swinging for the fences every single time. It's just I may bat 120, but I'm going to hit 55 home runs. You know what I mean? That's valuable to somebody. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And, if he stays in kind of this lane, I would like to see more of Shyamalan. Don't let him anywhere near big IP ever again, though. No, thank you.
I have to make an apology. First of all, I will say that Unbreakable is probably one of the most underrated superhero movies of all time. And it predates a lot of the superhero stuff that we see now, and it's fucking great. Also,
one of Bruce Willis's better films, actually.
Bruce Willis is incredible, and we need to do a whole Bruce Willis episode on this podcast because in college I had a big poster on my wall of Bruce Willis. I love Bruce Willis. I know he's in poor health these days, and it makes me very sad because Bruce Willis has given us some bangers. But my apology, a friend of the show, Miss Pizzerino, who's been on the show millions of times from what we watch, made me watch this movie. She is an M. Night Shyamalan stan. She loves him. She's seen all his movies. She loves them. She loves The Village, which is the worst movie of all time. She loves it.
She loved Old too.
She loves Old. She's Old is the funniest movie I saw last year. It's not a comedy, but it is a comedy, and she just obsesses with it. She loves it. So I have to publicly apologize to Mo. Mo, you were right. Somehow M. Night Shyamalan made a good movie before the Cowboys went back to the NFC Championship. It's crazy that happened, but I definitely will apologize to Mo. Here's my public apology. You were right. M. Night Shyamalan made a very good movie. I won't even say this, just a little good, but I expected nothing. I would watch this movie again. I would go sit down in the movie theater and watch this movie again. Batista is that good. And Batista has been saying that he wants to do other kind of movies. He's like, why won't they put me in a rom-com? And people didn't like the quotes. After seeing this performance, let Batista do whatever he wants to. If he wants to do a rom-com, put him in a rom-com. He's very charming. He could do it. He's good-looking enough. The tattoos are a little weird, but other than that, he's great. Batista, give him all the jobs, bros. He's about to be dead in Marvel anyways. He's going to have a lot of time on his hands because they're about to kill him.
He's said as much too. So it's not even those trailers tried to disguise that, and it's just he said get me the fuck out of here years ago. He had stands coming after people is after he said that, basically defending him, who's not letting him be in a rom-com? And I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like 280 pounds. He's like 6'5", Andre the
Yeah,
Giant.
how do you put him
up,
on screen with someone? Like, how do you put him on screen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, who's his equal? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I'd like
who
to
are you
take you out on a
making?
date.
Who
You're
are
gonna
you
have to
making
cast
to a
Candace Parker.
believable couple with Batista?
Candace Parker and Batista in a rom-com. I love it. Sign me
I mean,
up.
you can do the whole like Jonah Hill, Lauren London thing, where it's like you can just have these two people who don't look like they go together at all, like in the center of your
Speaking
rom-com. But
That has been Knock at the Cabin. Go see it. I want to talk about this right now. Teach, please give the breakdown of this Lauren London, Jonah Hill movie, You People, and the CGI kiss that actually a comedian ruined on a Sway podcast.
Yes. A comedian was on set for the movie and basically told everybody
Andrew Schultz, who's
Andrew Schultz
huge right now. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You People is a movie by Kenya Barris. He's
Boo.
famous because he has a sitcoms. He made Blackish and he spun it off into Grownish, and he made a Netflix movie a
Mixed-ish.
couple years ago called Mixed as Fuck or Black as Fuck,
Black as
AF,
Fuck.
whatever it was called. So he's a mix. He's a man of mixed race. He's a black and white, I believe. And he made a movie that had some potential, starring Jonah Hill, Lauren London, in a rom-com. And then they're basically surrounded by comedians. Jonah Hill is also a comedian, but they're surrounded by
Jonah Hill
comedians.
wrote the
basically.
movie. I should say that.
Jonah Hill did write the movie.
Co-wrote it.
Eddie Murphy plays the dad of Lauren London, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus, who literally steals the fucking show, who
She's
is
so good.
perfect, plays his mom. And you could tell that Jonah Hill wrote the movie because when you're with the Jewish family, you're having a great time. The jokes are funny. The banter is funny. Julie Louis-Dreyfus is kind of like, first of all, she's funny at everything. She's just great, but like her comedic timing is just top tier. So there are good parts of the movie, but the love interest of the movie, the love interest angle really doesn't really work. Like the actual rom-comness of the movie, there's no chemistry between the two actors, and they have a kiss at the end because it's a rom-com. So they end up they break up, but then they come back together, a surprise wedding at the end of the movie. But they don't kiss in this wedding. They CGI'd the wedding kiss, which is what Andrew Schultz told everybody, which is just a cherry on top of the shit sandwich that was the actual romance of the rom-com. Like it just doesn't work. And I've tweeted some stuff. I've been getting people jumping in my mentions all day, even today. I tweeted this probably a day or two ago. Why do y'all care so much if she didn't want to kiss him? Blah, 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 blah. Look, it's not my decision who Lauren London chooses to kiss. And if she didn't want to kiss Jonah Hill, I don't blame her. He looks crazy in the film. His tan is weird. His hair is weird. Like,
looks insanely gross.
He looks gross. So I respect it. Like, you don't want to kiss Jonah Hill, I'm fine. But he wrote this movie. He's going to be in this movie. If we can't even get kisses in our rom-coms, what the fuck are we doing it for? Why are we here, guys? We are here to make cinema. If the lead actress of your film does not want to do a kiss, we're not saying that you have to be married to him for the rest of your life, but we're saying that you can't take the kisses out of rom-coms. I'm sorry. We can't do that, guys. There's no counter argument. And I know people are coming from different perspectives. I'm coming from this perspective of cinema. I am a movie fan. I am a rom-com fan. You can't take the kisses out of rom-coms. People have been saying, oh, they were doing CGI kisses before, during COVID. Yeah, I don't care. Nobody goes to see an action movie because of people kissing. You go to rom-coms to see this story of this connection of these two people. And I'm supposed to believe this connection. You can CGI a lot of stuff. I'm fine with it. I'm not the CGI. I'm not the guy who goes to the Marvel movies and starts looking at the CGI and looking across the screen and shit. I don't really care what you do with the CGI. As long as it doesn't look too bad, I'm fine with it. But we are not going to have CGI kisses become a thing. I refuse to let it happen. I will turn into an old man yelling at the cloud. I refuse to let this happen. I'm sorry, Kenya and you people and whoever made these decisions. That won't fly from here. Our rom-coms, they don't even make rom-coms anymore. You're not going to fucking take the kisses out of the rom-coms that we get. We get one rom-com a year. Maybe.
This is the PC culture I am stopping right here.
We're not fucking doing this. You listen, snowflakes.
Listen, libs.
I don't want to delve into this becoming a just make them do it sort of thing. But, but it is when they
it's not
but it's like,
do it.
If you don't want to
someone that's going to do it
in the movie,
like there are plenty of movies. Lauren London can go get whatever movie she wants. Obviously, Jonah Hill can go get whatever movie he wants. If you don't have two people that are going to assent to kiss in your rom-com, you don't have a rom-com. I'm sorry, you just don't.
If you
somebody
can't
made this point
to the on-screen chemistry enough to kiss, in your movie, which people have been kissing on movie screens for
Since
hundreds of
movies.
years.
Since movies.
Yeah.
Since movies.
If you can't do that, then why are you in this rom-com where this is your love interest? People are already saying there's no fucking way these two people would be in a believable relationship together. And you just proved them right by not kissing
You
this
literally
man in
proved
this
them
movie.
right.
It's just a wild stepping stone from where we are, because it's like, yeah, well, like, I'm not docking CGI and in Marvel movies. It's also a fucking superhero movie. They film all that shit on green screen anyway. You mean to say somebody had to sit there and airbrush their lips together for like
Andrew
like,
Schultz said they came very close together, like they were going to kiss, and they cut. That's where they cut it. And instead of, they don't even cut around it in the movie. Like if you don't want them to kiss, there are ways you could film the movie that makes, like, we imply the kisses, but we don't have to actually CGI a kiss, because that means a kiss is supposed to be there. And if you can't actually get the actors to agree to do the kiss, you don't have a rom-com. I'm sorry, you just don't.
You couldn't give me a body double. You couldn't
Dog, just grabs. It's ridiculous.
And
ridiculous.
And also, somebody had made this point. Didn't she kiss Michael B. Jordan in that bad Tom Clancy movie like a year ago?
Hey, no.
Hey, Michael B. Jordan is a great looking man. You got to see what Jonah Hill looks like. No disrespect to Jonah Hill. I don't know why he was tanning too much. His hair is weird. There's a lot going on with Jonah Hill's physical appearance in the movie. His hair is a whole different thing.
And also, like, their whole relationship in that movie, like the way they like fall in love or whatever, it's just literally like they go buy Air Maxes together, and like,
oh no!
And now they're supposed to be like now I'm supposed to believe that these people want to be married to each other. Like, they buy Air Maxes, they listen to Daniel Caesar, and that's it. Like, let's get married now. Like, that was the whole love story.
They can't even break. They can't even. Guys. Well, we did.
We canceled him.
Y'all canceled Daniel Caesar.
Okay. Well, I mean, some people canceled Daniel Caesar.
Not me. Daniel Caesar still gets spins around here.
Me.
Like, was he wrong? Yeah, he was. But
that song
can't even do the thing where, like, in all the old rom-coms, like, we're not even, Netflix isn't even giving them Lakers money. Like, they can't get Lakers courtside tickets or whatever. You know what I mean? They put that in every rom-com. They're just like, let's go see the Lakers. Look at these seats.
They
can't do that
anymore.
Or at least, give my man like the hookup at some like really cool like bar, or like
send them to Nobu.
They get to sneak in at the circus or some shit. Like, we've had plenty of rom-coms do plenty of things. Dane Cook had like a plug that let him like go and be on the trapeze and shit. Right. At the empty circus in one of his movies. Like, y'all couldn't give me something cool on this date.
They rented out the entire Madison Square Garden in Trainwreck.
Yeah. We've seen rom-coms where people go do shoot-arounds on empty NBA courts, like, for their first date. Like, we've seen some shit when it comes to first dates in rom-coms. Like,
I love the super amazing first date in the rom-com. That shit makes your heart flutter. You're like, oh shit, your first date? You must really like this girl. You fucking rented out Dodger Stadium. Like, this is the first date? This is crazy.
How did you do this? And it's always, I know a guy.
I know a guy. I happen to know a guy.
Or at least give me like a cool scene, like fucking This Means War, when Tom Hardy takes Reese Witherspoon to paintball. He's just shitting on kids at paintball. Like, come on, give me something. Nah, we're just gonna go to the store, buy some Air Maxes.
I love that trope in rom-coms. Some mid-level executive knew the security guard at the Hollywood Bowl, and it's just like, just let me in,
Yeah, and he just like fucking just like taps the screen, and like the shit lights up with their names on it and shit.
Right. How are y'all in the Griffith Observatory? You can't even get up there.
I know the security guard.
The guy.
Yeah, fucking Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone just floating through the Griffith Observatory at night.
So that was one thing that came out. There's a whole lot of like DC shit that came out. I don't know if we care to even talk about that.
Don't care.
Okay, cool.
I trust what's his face? That's all
James
I'm gonna say about DC for now. I trust James Gunn to make fire shit. And we're still getting Batman 2, and we're still getting Joker 2, even though we don't need it. So, they're gonna have the money makers over there, and
I'll tell you what,
we'll see what happens.
as the number one Joker hater, if Joker has one hater, it is me.
Yep.
I'm gonna be in there. I'm gonna see that fucking movie. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Night one,
Sorry.
bro. You
Joaquin
put Lady
Phoenix
Gaga in your
and
movie.
Lady
I'm
Gaga
there.
are.
That's exactly what got me.
It will probably be bad.
Probably. I don't see any way it's not bad, to be honest.
I mean, the first one wasn't that good. I mean,
it's a
it
Joker
wasn't bad,
musical,
but it wasn't that good.
Like, there's no way that it's a good movie. But I'm gonna watch it though. You put Lady Gaga on some shit, I'm gonna watch it. Like straight up.
You tell me Lady Gaga is gonna be there. I'm on period. When that came out, that was when I decided, oh, I'm in there on night one. I don't care. I'm in there night one. Lady Gaga is hurt. She really is hurt.
I remember the tweet was like, Joker 2 is called like Joker Folie à Deux or whatever.
Yep.
It'll be a musical. I'm like, okay, I'm out. Starring Lady Gaga.
okay,
back in.
I'm glad you told me that. I'm out.
Back in.
Just when I thought I was out, pull me back in.
But yeah, the rest of that shit, like, why are we making an Amanda Waller show? Who asked for that? Who cares?
She did.
Look, I love
Viola Davis is the
next man, but I don't know why we need an Amanda Waller show. But you know, I'll tune in. We'll see.
Man, I don't.
As someone who hasn't watched Peacekeeper and probably won't be watching Peacekeeper.
You're missing out on real cinema. Now you're missing out on real cinema.
Peacemaker.
Bro.
Peacemaker, whatever.
Very January 6th of you.
Peacemaker. You're missing out on real cinema, bro.
I'm sorry. Like,
no, Peacemaker was good. I will say that. James Gunn, the DC stuff that he's doing. I don't know how, because we reviewed it. I don't even know how you felt about his Suicide Squad, but I really enjoyed that movie.
It was good. Shout out to Margot Robbie.
Yeah, so they're gonna do the thing where they have Elseworlds, which is like literally there's just like the Batman and the Joker, and they're just like, these movies made a ton of money, we got to keep making them, but also we want to try to do the cinematic universe again, so we're just gonna call those Elseworlds, you know, like the comics. And it's so
how about
these are the ones that are going to make $1 bajillion, and then hopefully the other stuff will too. But if it doesn't, we still got these go-tos.
Yeah, we can just crank those out.
Yeah, y'all fucking love Robert Pattinson, so here you go. There's more. I think
if it didn't work, if the Batman didn't work, they would have been like, nah, it's done. I guarantee
we're done with that Batman. But now, because it worked, now we're just gonna have 2 Batmans.
This is why I'm like so surprised that people are upset Henry Cavill and The Rock aren't coming back. I'm like, nobody, like, we didn't like those movies.
Nobody liked it. Yeah, nobody saw it. So
like we didn't like those movies. Like, why are we upset?
The Rock was at the Grammys last night. I didn't watch much of the Grammys, but when I turned it on, he happened to be on screen. I literally picked up my phone and tweeted, Black Adam was trash. I'm gonna make sure that everybody remembers that film is absolute huff. That shit sticks, bro. He lied. He lied to everyone for years. He lied.
I don't know why, but my wife looked. It's like, why the fuck was The Rock at the Grammys? And I was like, you know, good point. Like,
it's about drive. It's about power.
Oh my god. He is a recording artist. Anyway, Dex, what were you gonna say? It's about time.
It's about time that we abolish the cinematic universe, guys. I think we're done. I think we've done it enough. We've seen enough.
After the Kang saga, we're reaching critical mass.
Let's wrap it up, y'all. Everybody, no more cinematic universes.
I have to stop this right now.
After Kang, I think we're reaching.
Is about to go.
I'm saying
that.
I'm like, hey, finish
what
we got.
Back.
Finish what we got right now. You know what I'm saying? Hold it down. If you've made a cinematic universe, you can make it until it's done. No more. Nobody else. Wrap it up.
No more. That's it.
No more.
Yeah, you had to start back. You had to start circa 2011.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has given us 2 elite television shows in the same universe, and
what did I say?
Like
2011. You had to start.
Yeah. Game of Thrones.
You can't start it now. You're saying you can't start it.
You
now.
cannot start it now. Game of Thrones grandfathered in. MCU,
as long as we have some grandfather stuff in, I'm fine with this take. Yeah. I'm on board now.
DCU. Wrap it up. No.
Wrap it up.
Just that meme. Wrap it up.
The fucking John Wick. No, stop.
So what happens to all those other, all those movies that people saw in the Snyderverse? do those just like not count as canon anymore?
James Gunn basically, if I'm reading it correctly, like flushed it down the toilet. He was just like, we're just gonna try harder and better and do better things. We're just gonna be better over here. So sorry
Except the Flash. He was like, the Flash. We spent so much fucking money on this movie.
Yeah.
Y'all going to get Ezra Miller.
The Flash are starting.
People are telling big lies. That shit better be the greatest thing I've ever seen, DC. Because y'all are playing with my why.
They have a war criminal out there just running them up.
This dude is playing Grand Theft Auto in real life, basically. He's committing felonies and crimes. And y'all are like, okay, we know that he's a piece of shit, but y'all don't understand. This film is going to change everything. Okay, you better fucking be right, DC, because if that shit stinks, we're going to kill it on this podcast. We're going to destroy that film. If you try to give us Black Adam again, if this is Black Adam level, I might be done with DC forever. I might... Well, except for the Batman 2. I have to watch that. But the Flash is trash. I might be done.
There's a reason why they've kept it around even after doing all the reshoots and stuff. Apparently, they put together like a decent film, which is shocking to me.
Decent isn't good enough because of the way that they've been doing
my life.
It has to be. It has to be. What did The Rock say Black Adam is going to be?
A paradigm shift.
A paradigm shift. It needs to be a paradigm shift, bros.
It's not going to be already because y'all don't like Ezra Miller. We shouldn't like Ezra Miller, but I'm saying just like
Ezra Miller is a bad person.
Yes, but if Ezra Miller was really him on screen, we could at least forget for an hour and a half to 2 hours that he's a bad person. But we don't know because we haven't seen the fucking performance, and I've never seen Ezra Miller do something that made me think he was him. Now, if he walks on screen and I immediately am like, oh, God, this is the next big star. Hey, I'm not saying we're going to forget about all those awful things that he said, but at least for those 2 hours, I can have a good time because we just saw Brad Pitt on screen, and the allegation didn't come into my brain when I was watching Babylon.
Yeah, I've been known to overlook some things in my time. I can separate some art from an artist, but Ezra Miller, the fucking Perks of Being a Wallflower wasn't that goddamn good. All right, like y'all, you need to do something.
Oscar-nominated Ezra Miller for whatever that was in the Oscars, the Speed Force or whatever it was.
Oh yeah,
best movie moment of all
best
time.
Fan moment.
You
whatever.
haters and
they
losers.
Do that shit this year. If that man is mentioned during my Oscar broadcast, if that man's name is mentioned, even on a commercial, I'm going to lose my shit. Keep him away from everything that I love, please.
Did Zack Snyder put out anything this year that could get him like spam voted into the Oscars?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but it only dropped on Reddit. It didn't come out in theaters. It was on Reddit only. You have to go to 4chan to watch the movie. That's the only place you can find it.
What was the last thing he made? That like zombie movie?
Yeah, and that got voted in somehow too as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
they
was
spam voted Army of the Dead into that.
Fucking Snyder fans.
He's got a movie called Rebel Moon coming.
Oh yeah, that's gonna definitely be awesome. Let's wrap up with what we're watching. And this can be what we're reading, what we're playing, whatever we're doing, what we're watching. I'll start. I'm watching The Last of Us, folks. Sorry to disappoint you out there. I know this is a movie podcast, but it's also now a video game turned into extended series podcast because that shit rocks. That show's awesome. Sorry.
I have to go back and say I'm watching Andor and Bros. You want to talk about a paradigm shift? This is easily. And I like Mando. Don't get me wrong. This is easily the best Star Wars show, and it doesn't even have a close second. It is so good, and they are exploring things that make you realize they should have been exploring things like this in the Star Wars universe ages ago. And they finally found Tony Gilroy, who they've been literally begging to make a Star Wars show forever. He's been saying no because all that shit that y'all be making be trash, and Tony Gilroy don't want to make none of that shit. And they finally said, okay, whatever, make whatever you want. And he fucking made Andor, and that shit is a masterpiece. It's gonna change the way we view Star Wars going forward. I promise.
It's the whole political intrigue, like espionage point of view of it. If I'm correct in saying so? That
all these things are happening on these planets in Star Wars, but you don't ever like spend time to think about how
we're on the desert planet again.
Yes, you just jump around. You're just like you don't spend enough time on any given planet to think about how the Empire and how the Empire is structured affects that place. And so zooming in a little bit and kind of seeing how the Empire's rule affects certain planets is just really cool. And it fills in a lot of gaps because you can't just, you go to 20 different planets in a given Star Wars movie. You don't have time to think about the people on that last planet. That was 30 minutes ago. We're not thinking about that planet anymore.
I still haven't watched Andor. I need to get on that.
Oh man,
watched a couple of episodes. It is really well made, but
I fell behind, and then I was like, "Damn, I can't catch up." There's so many episodes. So
it is
now I have all the time in the world. So I'm gonna watch that shit.
I have one more episode to go, but it's been.
They're all like 45 minutes to an hour, though, too,
yeah,
right?
It's long, but you realize what's happened. Basically, it's like in three episode acts. So basically, every 3 episodes is like the beginning, middle, and end of a certain part of the story. It's great. There's going to be a season 2, so you have plenty of time to tap back in. Dexter.
And there's only going to be a season 2 too.
Yeah,
they
said it's only going to be two seasons.
That was also part of why I didn't watch it at first
because we know what happened.
Like,
it's
fucking 24 episode saga.
Spoiler alert. Andor's
I've seen
Rogue One.
Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't need a 24 episode arc explaining to me why this man just died. Like I was already sad about that. Like, but
getting to see
apparently this is real heat. So I'm gonna check it out.
It's real cinema, bros. It is seeing all the sacrifices that had to be made in order for him to even have the chance to make his sacrifice that he made in Rogue One it's just great storytelling. It's like great storytelling. It's great.
I also want to go back and say that I've been going back and watching a bunch of HBO stuff that I missed over the years. Y'all won't care about this at all, and I don't think a lot of people listening. The John Adams miniseries with Paul Giamatti is fucking awesome.
John Adams
will not care about that at all.
Wait, John Adams, the politician,
the second president of the United States.
Okay,
it's awesome.
First of all,
the guy who got like a 2-minute diss song in Hamilton.
Yeah. And
Paul Giamatti made me watch Billions for way longer than I should have been watching Billions.
He's awesome, man.
He's that good. He's a great actor.
He's an incredible actor. And it just got me like thinking like, man, I really want a mini series for like all of our lesser known presidents. You know what I mean? Like Benjamin Harrison. Can I get it like
Taft?
Sure. Yeah, give me a Taft.
Taft, starring Brendan Fraser.
Was that a real president's name? We had a president named Benjamin Harrison?
Yeah, I was gonna let it slide, but I was like, I don't know who that is.
I literally don't know who that is.
That was a president.
They just be making they used to make any white man president.
2 weeks or something.
23rd president. Oh, you white, you president.
White, you Ben Affleck.
Speaking of Ben Affleck, did y'all see how miserable he looked at his wife's work event last night?
I hate that, bro.
He's married to Jennifer Lopez.
There were reasons why you left that relationship. Miserable. Ben. Why'd you go back? Please, bro. Get free. Get free.
Anyway, Dex, what are you watching?
I mean, I'll take a spot if you don't want it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you want to swap it out,
Dex is like, tag me in.
I'll take a shift. Like, let me know.
Just give me a couple shifts. Like, that's fine. We can.
Speaking of, you watched Shotgun Wedding, right?
I watched Shotgun Wedding, and that movie kind of owns, man. Like, is it actually good? No, but I had a great time. Like that. Like, I really enjoyed that movie. It's what a stupid action-y rom-com is supposed to be.
Didn't one of you just watch Vengeance?
Me, yeah, I watched Vengeance. It's fine.
Oh, it's not,
I enjoyed it.
You're not high on it like everybody else was?
No, it's fine. It's like a movie that you used to get in like 2001.
I went and saw it back when it was in theaters, and I really enjoyed it. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did.
If I would have seen it in theaters, I think I would have enjoyed it more. I was just on my couch looking for something to watch, and I was like on my phone and stuff. There's some interesting things to say about being on your phone and like what your legacy is about like posting and all that stuff and who gets to speak and all that stuff. But they did Texas pretty well, like West Texas pretty well, actually. It's very stereotypical, but it is they
make
nailed
a couple
the
Whataburger jokes and I'm in.
Yeah. Nailed the stereotypes. They're like, who likes UT? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, who likes Texas Tech? Yeah.
Like, would you put Whataburger or something else? They're like, Whataburger. Why? It's right there.
Always there.
Like, yeah, I relate. So I fuck with that movie. I would definitely recommend checking out Vengeance. I watched speaking of Amazon, I just watched the end of it actually. There's a new show coming out later this month called The Consultant, starring Christoph Waltz.
2-time Academy Award winner.
Wait, are you saying you already watched this show, but it
I've
hasn't come
already
out
watched
yet?
it. I got screeners, baby. I'm out here.
I just wanted to know how much of a flex that he just did. Like he just dropped that flex. And
I'm about to do a bigger flex because earlier today I was on the virtual press junket, so I got to do a little very, very fucking short interview with a few of the actors from that show. Not Christoph Waltz. They wouldn't give me that. I'm not there yet. But shout out to Brittany O'Grady, the White Lotus fame.
Hey.
And Nat Wolf of Naked Brothers
Wait,
Band.
who does
fame.
she play on the White Lotus? Which one is this?
Sydney Sweeney's friend.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. So I got to interview them earlier today about the show, and I got to finish watching it, and it's dope. I recommend it. It's coming out like at the end of February. I don't think I'm supposed to be like talking about it yet, but they're not going to listen to this podcast, so that's fine.
Luckily, millions of people listen to this podcast.
Jesus.
But yeah, and I watched that Living movie the other day that Bill Nighy got nominated for Best Actor.
It was a movie.
It was a movie. It happened. Yeah, you don't need to watch it unless you're like me and you're an Oscars completionist. Then there's no other reason for you to watch this movie. So, like his performance is good, but it ain't. You gotta see this. Like
I regret to inform you that Women Talking actually did come to my theater, and I was like, I'm gonna go see Megan. Like, you know what I mean?
I got tickets already for Women Talking. I got all my Oscar movies lined up at the movie theater, so I'm going to see Women Talking, All Quiet on the Western Front, and what's the third one I haven't seen? Well, there's Avatar, but I'm not going to watch that film. Spoiler: I'm not watching that film. Women Talking,
Triangle of Sadness.
Yes. So I have all those coming up as well. I'm also watching BMF, which is great television. I'm watching The Last of Us just like everybody else. That's great, and I'm about to start my Succession season 3 rewatch because we're about to be right back into Succession.
Maybe I'll
4.
actually start Succession.
Right, and it's time, bro. I'm begging you. I'm begging. It's literally the best show on TV. I'm begging you. It's the best show on TV.
Yeah, so that's what we're watching. Obviously, Tej and I are about to be watching computer screens for the next 48 hours.
Big Harry Potter hours,
Legacy.
Brother. Yes.
We do not stand J.K. Rowling on this podcast, but the universe that she made is awesome. So I'm just I'm gonna play the video game. Sorry, and I'm gonna play the Wizard RPG. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even a Harry Potter guy, but that game looks fun as fuck.
Yeah. So I was gonna have major FOMO, so I pre-ordered it last second, and now I'm about to go play it for until my eyes bleed at 5 a.m.
Same.
So that is what we're watching, what we're playing. Anyway, Dex. Well, hold on. You can find us at the One Take Pod. You can find us at the number One Take Pod on all platforms. One Take Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the like. Go follow us at Apollo HOU on all platforms. At Apollo Pop Culture on all platforms. Really appreciate that. Watch movies. Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh, baby. Our time is coming. Dune 2, Oppenheimer. We back. We out.
Never left. All right. We're out.